Warning, there is a good chance Bitcoin Mike has no idea what he's talking about. Do your own research. Enjoy the show. Thank you. All right, folks, happy Monday. Let's take a little bit of a look at the markets as we usually do. Bitcoin hanging out at 16,700. I mean, pretty much the same place we've been for a while. We've seen some altcoins pump up a little bit. I think that's because Bitcoin pumped yesterday. You know, in these markets, you'll get Bitcoin pumping first, then the altcoins, then Bitcoin takes a little bit of a breather, then the altcoins usually dump. But you do have some altcoins up. Solana is back up to $13. Folks, like I said yesterday, this is a great coin to be trading right now. I am so tempted, but I got so burned on Luna, trading Luna. I don't know, but I was like thinking yesterday, should I just pick up some Solana at like $10 and just see what happens? And man, could have gotten a 20% pump. I do think we're going to dump pretty soon for Solana. I'm not a big fan, as you know. Let's see what else is up. Yeah, Flow up 10%. Yeah, I mean, today is actually turned into be a little bit more of a down day. Stock market started off strong, but now it's kind of in dumpage mode. So it is what it is. Let's see what else is going on in the crypto world. Sam Bankman-Fried has asked the judge to keep his bail grantor secret. As you all know, Sam Bankman-Fried got the $250 million bail. Of course, he doesn't have that kind of money. Even his parents, who put up the $4 million house and a few million dollars, they don't have $250 million, or at least whatever it is, 10% of $250 million. So other people came up, I guess friends, family, Kevin O'Leary, who knows, and they put up the money. Sam Bankman-Fried is asking the judge to keep his bail grantor secret. Lawyers argue no need for public disclosures of the names, and I think there absolutely is a need. They're making the argument that, hey, look, if we let the public know who put up the money, they're going to harass those people. But hey, that's part of the game. In this particular case, everything needs to be transparent, because if somebody put up the money who's associated with FTX or Kevin O'Leary or a former executive, you need to make sure that the person who put up the money didn't use investors' funds to put up the money, which I have a sneaky suspicion that that's what's happening, because all those investors' funds got spread out throughout so many different people. I would just want to make sure that, you know, the investors aren't responsible for bailing Sam Bankman-Fried out. So we'll see what happens. I don't think the judge has made his decision yet on the matter, but I really hope they release the names. But you know, Sam Bankman-Fried has powerful parents. He's a powerful guy. I could see them keeping those names confidential. But two people haven't signed on yet, but intend to do so. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Very interesting. I mean, I wonder if it is Kevin O'Leary. I don't know. We'll see. Because who else would want to support Sam Bankman-Fried and give him money at this point? I would say family, but I don't think he has anybody in his family that has that kind of a money. Could it be like a politician? I don't know. But we'll see what happens with that one. Very interesting. You know, I've seen a lot of Cardano news lately. A lot of Cardano stories, like Cardano hit that low of 24 cents, 23 cents last week. And you're just starting to see a lot of positive articles now on Cardano. You know, when Cardano was going down under 25 cents, all the articles were negative. People were capitulating. Now you're starting to see positive articles. And that usually is what happens when you're near bottom. Why Cardano could be a rewarding altcoin to hold in 2023. The Cardano blockchain displayed huge developer activity with high GitHub repository activity in the year 2022. So as we all know that developers are flocking to Cardano, especially with Luna collapsing, UST, Solana, and people are trying to go to stable projects. And it looks like Cardano is one of those projects. And there's a few other articles as well. Cardano's DeFi industry might grow substantially in 2023. As we know, Cardano decentralized, working on DeFi. I mean, you're just seeing all the articles. Like, I'll just Google Cardano and I go under news, and all the articles are pretty much positive, at least for today on Cardano, which is good. And I do think you're going to see a lot more big money popping into Cardano. Cardano's decentralized finance were not the strongest part of the ecosystem, as it only began delivering content solutions by the second half of last year. Such a tendency was tied to the underlying technology of translations bookkeeping on the network. However, things might drastically change in 2022. The current TVL on the network is at 50 million, down significantly from all-time highs reached back in 2022, when the total value of assets on the network stayed at 350 million. Considering the lack of variety in decentralized solutions in Cardano's ecosystem, such a high number is surprising. In the new year, the Cardano network will release a whole series of algorithmic, I can never say that word, algorithmic stablecoins. That's a tough word. That should bring way more value to the network than decentralized exchanges or yield farming platforms, considering the convenience they bring to networks and DeFis. And that's what I think. I've always said Cardano is slow and steady to the race. You're starting to see Trust Wallet offer staking. Cardano had all those upgrades the last half of 2023, so they're really going to be implemented this year. I think Cardano's going to be a major DeFi player. They got the stable coin coming out. I'm just so excited for Cardano, as you guys know, but you are seeing the positive articles now, which is good to see. As you guys know, my other favorite project, Theta. Theta had an AMA with all the executives. And it's a 2-hour AMA. I think it happened a couple weeks ago. I mean, I'm not gonna actually. This is part 1 of 2, so it might be a 4-hour AMA. So I highly encourage people. You have to basically go onto theta.con.org and become a member, which is free. You just sign up, and you can watch this. But they did ask this guy. I can't remember his name. I don't know. It'll come to me. But he's one of the executives over at Theta. And one of the persons asked him, "Hey, look, do you think Theta is a security?" And he pretty much gave his opinions on that question. So let's hear what Wes is this guy's name. Let's hear what he has to say.
Theta is a utility token that's going to help with the SEC. What have your dealings been with Gary Gensler, that whole crew, and how would you define the scope of the risk that may or may not pose going forward?
Yeah.
Great question.
I'll start by saying this is all just speculative on our part, since we haven't ever had any direct conversation with the SEC. So it's what we can sort of feel out from the media, from what our attorneys say is here's the latest that they've been able to suss out from their relationships. It's trying to infer from when they've taken other actions, because they've done this regulation by enforcement so far. But that said, we did basically, at every step away, what we thought was the current best practice as best we could figure out. So in 2017, that meant, our counsel says, here's all the things that, based on the enforcement action so far, here's what we know they don't want you to do. So we don't do any of those things. And that's obviously evolved over time. So to the extent we see new actions that say, don't do this, or you're allowed to do this, we try to follow that. But without, actual regulations being laid out, it's a bit of a guessing game. We think that the fact that we, besides filing SEC exemptions, which is pretty standard for private investment offerings, we've never had any conversation. They've never reached out to us. I think I'm allowed to say that. They haven't talked to us, so I assume that that is what it is. So I guess that means the best we can figure is that we've done it correctly so far, and we'll continue to try to stay in compliance best we can. My personal take from what I've seen in the last year is they seem to be going after more of the larger exchanges, sort of, instead of hunting down individual projects, just from an efficiency standpoint. The SEC doesn't have unlimited workforce. They don't have unlimited lawyers. So that, plus what's happened this year where there's massive losses of customer funds, I would guess that's where the priority is going to be, is to go after the people who are losing billions of dollars of customer funds, since ultimately that's what the SEC is supposed to be doing, is protecting consumers. Gary Gensler, I don't know. I don't know anything personally about the guy. I mean, the fact that he seems to be a little buddy-buddy with SBF, I hope he's not going to throw the book at all of crypto just to cover his own ass, because he's, looked a little bad palling around with the biggest scammer in crypto, but we'll see.
Thank you.
man.
I also want to quickly say something. Most of you know who Wes is. Most of you know who Andrea is, but many of you don't know who Jerry is.
That's right, Jerry.
The sharp.
Anyway, that was pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in this AMA. These guys are pretty laid back. They pretty much answer all the questions. I might do some more videos as I watch this AMA again, or at least finish it up and just do some more videos. But I just love this Theta project. Like I said, US-based project, video decentralized platform, based out of San Francisco. Most of the guys involved are Ivy League educated, but on top of that, they have connections to YouTube and things like that. So I've been in Theta for a very long time. I continue to accumulate Theta. I know a lot of people who did really well with Theta. There's a lot of big money in Theta. So I agree with what he said. I think Gary Gensler, SEC, are most likely the next step is to try to regularize the exchanges. The problem with that is, they might make it so only these exchanges, U.S.-based exchanges, can only offer Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum and a few other things, and everything else they might say, okay, well you can't label anything we might consider to be a security. Now, for the SEC to basically call a coin a security, it looks like at this point they actually have to sue each individual project, which is time consuming. Look at this lawsuit with XRP. It's been dragging out for years. It's been costing the taxpayers millions and millions of dollars. So I don't think we're going to get much concrete, from the concrete definition from the SEC for a while. I think it's going to be a couple years. I think it might not even be until after the next bull run before they actually come out with something and basically say all these coins are a security. I mean, it could happen. It could happen in 6 months. It could happen in a year. But Theta seems to be doing everything right. They're willing to work with the SEC. I think if Theta or Cardano or any of these coins do get labeled a security, it will hurt their price in the short term, but I don't think that will kill them 100%. Remember, Theta's doing decentralized video, so it's a nationwide company. Same with Cardano. You also have to remember when XRP pretty much got labeled a security in the United States, it got delisted from Coinbase, it got delisted from Binance.us, and XRP, is still around. And even if XRP gets labeled 100% a security, while I'm not a big fan of it, it'll probably still be around trading. So if every coin gets labeled a security, they're pretty much all in the same boat. It's not like saying, oh my God, your Theta or your Cardano is a security now. What junk? No, because the same coin you're in is a security too. Everything will be a security. So you're all lumped in one freaking thing. So you basically at that point just have to all work together, and you're all securities. And people will trade in that respect. It's not like you can say like, oh, XRP is a security, let's dump it. Well, what if everything's a security? People aren't going to dump every altcoin. They're still going to trade them. It is what it is. But if you have bad news against one particular project, yeah, then people dump it. But if you have bad news against all the projects, it's not really bad news anymore. That's just basically the market. Okay, everything's a security. That's it. People will still trade on international exchanges, and there will be US-based exchanges that register to trade securities, and you'll be able to buy your Cardano and Theta there. So I'm not really worried about it. Like I said, I still think Theta is going to be $20, $25 next bull market. I love this. I love the team. I love the project. I love what they're doing. I like the decentralized video. Nobody controls it. Unlike YouTube where everything's censored. I like everything about their project, and they've been around for what, 6 years now. They've survived multiple bear markets, and more power to them. So that's a little bit from the AMA. See what else is going on. Michael Saylor, Michael Saylor was making his rounds a couple weeks ago, and he gave his biggest disappointment to 2022. And I think we can all pretty much agree what he has to say here, just about all the scam projects, the Celsius, the BlockFis, and just everything like that. So I wanted to play a little bit of that.
Of 2022.
I mean, the biggest disappointment is just, all of the negative effects of having the crypto economy meltdown as we knew it was going to, but all of the people in the Bitcoin industry that are doing the right thing, that are working to grow the industry, have been slimed by their association with the rest of crypto. Right? It's like Do Kwon decides to buy some Bitcoin and screws up the Bitcoin market by blowing up a $60 billion complex. That's been a negative thing. The explosion of Three Arrows. And well, I mean, what really makes you angry? What makes you angry is all the crypto neo banks and wildcat banks that collected people's money or either got people's Bitcoin or they got their money to buy Bitcoin. And then they either never bought the Bitcoin or they bought the Bitcoin and then panic sold or sold the Bitcoin in a fire sale as they were being forced liquidated. But really makes you angry when you read about, say FTX that collected billions and billions of dollars, but never bought the Bitcoin actually. So why is this a problem? If FTX stole billions of dollars in a BlockFi and Voyager and Three Arrows and Celsius and Terra Luna, if all of those ecosystems basically collected people's money and then lost all the money, then people that legitimately wanted to own Bitcoin had their money stolen from them. So what you had was you have the very careful Bitcoiners that bought their Bitcoin and still have their Bitcoin. And then you have a lot of more casual Bitcoiners that maybe they bought the Bitcoin and deposited in Celsius to get some yield, and now they lost their Bitcoin. And I think that that's tragedy. I mean, it's bad for them, right? It's awful for anyone who had their money stolen from them. And it's not good for Bitcoin because billions and billions of dollars of Bitcoin was stolen and / destroyed, right? I send you $20 billion to buy Bitcoin. You take the Bitcoin, you steal the money, and the Bitcoin doesn't get bought, right? Or I send you 20 billion worth of Bitcoin, and then you loan it out to someone that invested in Terra Luna, and Terra Luna goes to zero, and then the Bitcoin never comes back, And so what happened? They converted the Bitcoin into Terra Luna, or converted the Bitcoin into FTT or the equivalent, and then that went to zero, right? So that kind of makes you mad.
Mhm.
It's somewhat tragic, it's irritating, tragic. It's not the finest moment for the crypto industry. And you would say you probably shouldn't have trusted any of these people, but there are a lot of decent people that did trust them, right? You got a lot of crypto influencers, a lot of Bitcoin influencers, and they were sponsored by Blockfolio and FTX and Celsius and some of the other players in the space. If you were sponsored by Voyager or BlockFi or FTX, and then someone decided to use one of those, then they've suffered. I think
And I really agree with everything Michael Saylor says, and I really do. You can't really disagree with the Bitcoin maxis in that if you just buy some Bitcoin, woo, excuse me. If you just buy some Bitcoin, you put it in hard storage, you're going to be okay. When you start messing around with the exchanges, the altcoins, it just becomes a lot more dangerous. And I get why the Bitcoin maxis just say, hey, look, buy some Bitcoin, put it in cold storage, because you have to remember, folks, I've already said, a lot of these YouTubers, they took a lot of money to promote scams. I mean, I'm not going to toot my own horn. I called some scams last year. I knew BlockFi was eventually going to go under. I actually had a couple $1,000s in BlockFi at one point. I took it out. Didn't feel right. I had money in Celsius at the time for like a month, and I was like, you know what? This is going to go under. This is a couple years ago. I knew Luna was going to go under. I knew UST. But I would never could see myself promoting these things to other people. It's like I said, what Cryptos R Us with all the promotions underneath. I mean, you're just asking to get your followers wrecked. So, like I said, for me going into 2023, well, actually, I learned this a couple years ago. When I see the people shilling projects, doing the promotions, I just know right off the fact that they're charlatans and I don't want to listen to them. Unfortunately, they have a big audience and people listen. But really, the safest thing in crypto is just to buy some Bitcoin, put it into cold storage. I'm taking it one step further than that because I see that there's gains to be had with these altcoins. You know, if I had just bought Bitcoin when I first got into crypto and not these altcoins, I wouldn't have made as much, you know. So, but I also wouldn't have lost as much because I lost money in altcoins too. So maybe it just all works itself out in the end. But for me, I'm willing to take the risk, and but if you're going to take that risk and get into altcoins, you have to do it very, very carefully. For one, you have to make sure you're in a good project. And even like I say, Cardano, Theta, they're my favorite. I feel very, very good about them. But that doesn't mean they're not going to get wiped out one day either. You know, Cardano and Theta are good now, but in the next bull run, maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe something will happen. You know, or maybe there'll be, if there's bad news that comes out with Cardano, like turns out Charles Hoskinson turned out to be like a complete scam or something like that, I'll be the first one to pull out. So things I've learned in crypto: don't get married to your projects. You have to be following this stuff every single day. I look at Cardano news every day. I'm just waiting to see something that's like really bad so I can get out if I have to and go into something else. But I don't think that's going to happen. I trust Cardano and I trust my Theta and my Litecoin and all that stuff. But you can't just willy-nilly be like, oh, I'm a crypto investor. Let me put $100,000 in Polkadot and I'll check back in 5 years. It don't work that way. Okay, it don't work that way. Let me put $100,000 in Solana at $50 and I'll check back in 5 years. No, because Solana won't be here anymore. You can do that with Bitcoin and to some extent maybe Ethereum. Maybe, but I wouldn't even do it with Ethereum. You can do it with Bitcoin. You can put Bitcoin in your retirement account and, you know, check on it in 5 years and then kind of go from there. But these altcoins, you cannot do that. You have to be following this stuff day by day. And that's pretty much one reason. Another reason that motivates me to make these YouTube videos is I got to follow this stuff anyway. Because if I don't follow it, I'm going to get wrecked. You know? So that's pretty much where it stands. You can buy your Bitcoin, put it in cold storage, you'll get some gains. But if you want to buy some good quality altcoins, you can 20, 30, 40, 50x and do a lot better. You have to do it smartly. You have to hold your altcoins in cold storage. You have to buy the right ones, and you have to follow this stuff every single day to make sure the altcoin that you bought doesn't turn into a big piece of shit. Because this time last year, everybody was into Luna. I never liked it, but I was trading in and out of it as well. And if you were some jackass who put all your money into Luna and UST, oh, I'm getting my 20%, you know, on Anchor for UST. I can't wait to retire in 10 years. And now you look back and it's at 0.0. So that's why the Bitcoin maxis just say, hey, look, there's too many scams out there. There's too many scammers. Buy your Bitcoin, put it in cold storage, and don't worry about it. And that's actually smart. You can't argue with that. But if you want a little bit more risk, you jump into the carnival, the circus, the wild, wild west, which is the altcoins, and then you have to deal with the exchanges and all that. And that's kind of where we are. Everybody wants to make those big gains, but you have to be smart about it because even if you follow this shit every single day with these altcoins, you can still lose money. I lost a lot of money trading Luna when Luna was crashing, thinking it might get a pump back up, and it just didn't do it. And that's kind of what I feel about Solana right now. I would not buy Solana at $13 right now after it just pumped 20%. I think that's a fool's game, but there are Riris out there doing it. And maybe Solana will go up to $20, $30, but you don't buy a coin after it pumped 20%, especially a coin that has no money. It was controlled by Sam Bankman-Fried, the biggest fraudster in the space, and there's a ton of it on the market being ready to sold right now. What it looks like what's happening with Solana is right now it's being manipulated. Somebody's trying to push the price up so they can dump a lot of it. And, you know, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is with Solana. But anyway, folks, that's pretty much it. That's the market. We're pretty much hanging out where we've been. And the stock market is pretty much down today. So we'll just have to take it day by day and see what happens. I think that bottom is near. I'm just looking for my dumps, and I'm looking to buy my Cardano, my Theta, my Bitcoin, some Ethereum, and Vulcan Forge, some Metaverse coins and things like that. All right, folks, like and subscribe. Talk to you later.